Are you still trying to train like you're 25? That's not discipline. And it's really not that smart, let's be honest. It's just a fast track to burnout. Here's what to do instead. If you're over 40 and feeling beat up by your workouts, struggling to stay consistent and constantly starting over, it's probably not your fault. Most fitness advice is still written for 25-year-olds with unlimited time and recovery. It doesn't work when you're juggling work, family, and a body that's been through a bit more wear and tear. Even if you're not falling for the advice of 25-year-old influencers, you may be influencing yourself by reminiscing about the good old days when you were in the best shape of your life playing rugby or running marathons. So you figure, why not just do the same now? Well, today I'm breaking down why most over 40s burn out with their training and most importantly, what to do instead. Let's face it, most of us were taught to train hard, go heavy, and push through the pain. And we loved it. But that only worked when we were younger, had fewer responsibilities, and we bounced back faster. After 40, that old school playbook just doesn't hold up. Trying to train like you did in your 20s, more often than not, leads to nagging joint pain, endless soreness, constant fatigue, and inconsistent training because of needing more rest, or worse, because of injuries. And I also feel that many of us fall into the trap of using exercise to punish ourselves, to try and make up for the past decade of letting ourselves slip. Or even just on a day-to-day basis, you're trying to offset the poor choices that you made at lunch or the busy weekend or the sedentary vacation. But that's not a pleasant way to frame fitness. And over time, all that adds up to is frustration, stalled progress, or quitting altogether. Now, if that sounds familiar, it's not your fault. But here's why it feels harder now. Wear and tear accumulates. We know that working out creates fatigue as well as fitness. Subjecting your body to physical loading from the training you do causes DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, achy tendons and joints, and those mystery pains that love to announce themselves randomly just to remind you of your mortality. But here's the real issue. Allostatic load, which is the total burden of stress your body has to manage from all areas of life. So this includes the mental stress from work, emotional stress from family, relationships, juggling responsibilities, poor sleep, suboptimal recovery, tight schedules, you name it. It all adds up. And your body doesn't separate the physical from the other stuff. It just knows I'm under load. So if you're piling intense workouts on top of an already full stress plate, your body isn't adapting, it's just surviving. And this creates a mismatch. Your training intensity and volume is higher than your ability to recover and adapt. And that mismatch leads to burnout. The worst part is it creates a negative feedback loop and you start thinking, why can't I train as hard as I used to? Am I just getting soft? Have I lost my discipline? And that mindset makes things worse because stubborn old dog that you are, instead of adjusting your plan, you try to push through and you burn out even faster. But just because the rules change doesn't mean the game is over. You just need to learn some new tricks, you old dog. So the solution isn't to stop training, it's to start training smarter. You need a new playbook that accounts for total life stress, your current capacity to recover, with a higher value on movement quality and consistency. Here's what that looks like. Shorter, more frequent sessions. This allows a higher quality of work with less fatigue and faster recovery. Lower total volume, which is the same thing, less is more, you know. Thanks to your high frequency of training, you can actually get some decent volume in across the week, but still adapt to it. Exercises with a better stimulus to fatigue ratio. And it's like if you've ever tried to do back squats to failure, right? It's not pretty. How about leg press? Still painful, but not soul destroying like the squats. Both are great quad builders, but if you had to choose a muscle building exercise to slot into your busy, stressful, sleep deprived life, which do you think is the option your body is going to deal with best? And then more built-in mobility and warm-up work. So say no more, right? Do the work you need to stay in the game. Get yourself a short but thorough warm-up sorted to kick off every session. And then instead of doom scrolling on your phone between sets, do that mobility work that you've been ignoring. Also, auto-regulation in training. Now, I've talked before about the Bulgarian national weightlifting team's max for the day concept. And these guys are moving serious tin, of course, but they can't hit their best every day. Instead, they allow for the natural ebbs and flows of energy and strength to ensure the weight on the bar matches what they can handle on a given day. So what this looks like in a normal person's program is using RPE or RIR prescriptions. Many people think of these as kind of like intensity guidelines, but they're also guardrails, which ensure you stay in the sweet spot and don't overreach. It can be even simpler than that if you want to keep it more instinctive. Just as you're warming up, adjust your planned working load based on how it's feeling. As Jim Quick says, if you only have 40% to give and you give 40%, then you gave 100. Now, you can still train hard, you can still build strength, but it has to match your capacity, not your ego, and certainly not your past self. And no, this doesn't mean you're going to get weaker or lose your edge. In fact, most of my clients see better strength gains, more energy, and fewer injuries once they switch to a smarter structure. So here's a simpler way to begin. First, drop the idea that more is better. Cut your workout time in half and then double down on consistency. Add more warm-up and mobility work to the front and within each session. Don't chase objective efforts, i.e. specific training loads, and especially don't let a coach prescribe that for you. Instead, use those subjective measures like RPE and RIR to ensure that you're giving your best on the day and no more. Start tracking your recovery, sleep, stress, mood, energy, not just sets and reps and weight. This isn't about lowering the bar, it's about playing the long game. The best workouts will always be the ones you can actually adapt to.